The hunter's prey. I had always been drawn to the allure of solitude, finding solace in the quiet embrace of nature. So when I stumbled upon an isolated cabin nestled deep within the forest, I saw it as a perfect opportunity for respite from the chaos of everyday life. Little did I know that this tranquil retreat would become the stage for a terrifying game of survival, where I would become the hunted. The cabin exuded rustic charm, its wooden walls weathered by time and the elements. As I settled in, the stillness of the surroundings wrapped around me like a comforting blanket. It was a sanctuary, far removed from the reach of civilization. On the second night of my stay, as darkness cloaked the forest, I heard a noise, an unsettling rustling outside. My heart quickened, the serenity shattered by a foreboding sense of danger. I dismissed it as the nocturnal creatures of the woods, but a primal instinct urged me to lock the doors and draw the curtains tightly shut. As the hours passed, a palpable tension filled the air. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind sent a chill down my spine. I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination, that I was safe within the confines of the cabin. But doubt lingered, whispering sinister possibilities. And then I saw it, a flicker of movement through the window. My breath caught in my throat as I peered into the darkness, straining my eyes to discern the source. There, illuminated by the pale moonlight, was a figure, a dark silhouette lurking among the trees. Fear gripped me, its icy fingers tightening around my heart. Who was this intruder? What did they want from me? My mind raced with a million questions, each one more terrifying than the last, but instinct took over, urging me to remain silent, to blend into the shadows and wait for the danger to pass. Minutes turned into hours as I clung to the shadows, my senses heightened to their limits. The figure moved with an eerie grace, silently circling the cabin like a predator stalking its prey. Panic threatened to consume me, but I forced myself to stay calm, to focus on the single objective: survival. As dawn began to break, I dared to hope that the danger had passed, that I had eluded the clutches of this unknown assailant. But as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the window, a bone-chilling realization washed over me. The figure was still there, lurking just beyond the tree line, watching, waiting. Fear gave way to desperation, and I knew that I had to escape. With trembling hands, I gathered my belongings, careful not to make a sound. The forest, once my refuge, now felt like a labyrinth of potential death traps. Each step was calculated, every breath measured to avoid detection. Adrenaline surged through my veins as I ventured into the unknown, every snap of a twig echoing through the forest like a gunshot. I pushed my body to its limits, ignoring the pain that seared through my muscles. The hunter was relentless, never far behind, his pursuit unwavering. Hours turned into days as I navigated the unforgiving terrain, my only allies the fading sunlight and the unyielding will to survive. Hunger gnawed at my insides, and exhaustion threatened to overtake me. But I pushed on, my determination fueling my weary steps. Finally, on the brink of collapse, I stumbled upon a ranger station, a beacon of hope in this nightmarish ordeal. With tears streaming down my face, I relayed the horror I had endured, begging for protection from the relentless hunter. The authorities responded swiftly, mobilizing a search party to apprehend the unknown assailant and bring an end to this nightmare. Days later, they found him, a man shrouded in darkness, his eyes filled with a twisted obsession. As the authorities led him away, his gaze lingered on me, a chilling reminder of the close encounter with death I had narrowly escaped. I emerged from that harrowing experience a changed person, haunted by the memory of being the prey in the hunter's deadly game. The tranquility of nature had transformed into a battlefield, a stark reminder that danger can lurk in even the most serene surroundings. So, dear listener, heed my cautionary tale. Be wary of the solitude you seek, for the wilderness can be both beautiful and merciless. Trust your instincts, for they may be your only ally in the face of an unknown danger. And remember, in the depths of the forest, you may never truly be alone. The Lost Trail. I was an avid camper, finding solace in the embrace of nature and the serenity it offered. One summer, my friends and I decided to embark on a camping trip to a remote forest. It was meant to be a getaway from the hustle and bustle of the city, a chance to unwind and reconnect with the simplicity of life. Little did we know that our venture into the heart of those woods would turn into a chilling ordeal that would haunt us forever. We arrived at the campsite on a sunny afternoon, the scent of pine filling the air as we set up our tents and organized our gear. Excitement filled our hearts as we planned hiking trails and shared ghost stories around the campfire. The forest appeared welcoming, with its vibrant green foliage and chirping birds, giving no indication of the horrors that lay hidden within. On the second day of our trip, we decided to explore a nearby hiking trail. The path was well marked, leading us deeper into the wilderness. As we ventured further, the woods grew denser, casting elongated shadows that seemed to whisper secrets. The once cheerful atmosphere turned somber, and a sense of unease settled upon us. We soon realized we had lost our way. The trail seemed to vanish, swallowed by the thick underbrush that surrounded us. Panic began to bubble within us as we frantically searched for any signs of civilization. The once familiar forest now felt like an impenetrable labyrinth, its towering trees blocking out the sunlight. With each passing hour, our desperation mounted. We stumbled through the undergrowth, branches clawing at our clothes, the thorns biting into our skin. The forest seemed to mock our feeble attempts to find our way back, as if it reveled in our torment. As night fell, the forest transformed into a realm of darkness and eerie silence. The nocturnal creatures retreated, leaving us to face the solitude of the wilderness. Fear gnawed at our hearts as we huddled together, our flickering flashlights casting feeble beams of light that barely pierced the oppressive blackness. Every sound became a source of terror. The rustle of leaves made us jump, imagining unseen eyes watching our every move. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying an unsettling melody that sent shivers down our spines. Our imagination ran wild, conjuring up phantoms lurking just beyond our line of sight. Exhaustion gnawed at our bodies, but we dared not rest. Sleep seemed like an invitation to the unknown, a surrender to the perils that surrounded us. Eyes heavy with fatigue, we pressed on, our hope flickering like dying embers in the dark. Days blurred into nights, and nights into days. Hunger gnawed at our stomachs, and our bodies weakened with each step. We stumbled upon a small clearing, a glimmer of hope in the sea of despair. But as we approached, a bone-chilling realization gripped us. The clearing was devoid of life. Not a single blade of grass grew, and the air hung heavy with an unnatural stillness. The forest closed in around us, its grip tightening with each passing moment. Our bodies grew frail, our minds haunted by the relentless hunger and the oppressive atmosphere. We had become prisoners in a labyrinth of trees, a cruel fate that taunted us with false hope and endless despair. Some of us succumbed to the darkness that pervaded the forest, their minds slipping into madness. They wandered aimlessly, their pleas for help echoing through the trees, unheard and unanswered. The rest of us clung to the last vestiges of sanity, vowing to survive and escape the clutches of this nightmare. Miraculously, we stumbled upon a faint trail, a lifeline leading us out of the forest's clutches. Weak and battered, we emerged from those haunted woods, forever scarred by our harrowing ordeal. The tranquility of the city greeted us like a long-lost friend, but the memories of the lost trail would forever haunt our dreams. And so, dear listener, take heed of our cautionary tale. Even in the familiarity of nature's embrace, danger lurks. The wilderness can transform into a merciless adversary, swallowing the lost and unwary. Cherish the serenity of nature, but tread cautiously, for the line between tranquility and terror is often thinner than we dare to imagine. The Whispering Woods. I had always been an adventurous soul, eager to explore the unknown and unravel the mysteries of the world. So when my friends suggested a camping trip in the Whispering Woods, I jumped at the opportunity. Little did I know that our venture into the depths of those darkened woods would become a haunting nightmare that would forever etch itself into the depths of my mind. The Whispering Woods stood tall and foreboding, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, beckoning us to enter their eerie embrace. We arrived at the campsite just as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting elongated shadows across the forest floor. It was silent, too silent for a place teeming with life. We set up our tents and gathered around the flickering campfire, its dancing flames providing a meager sense of comfort against the encroaching darkness. As the night deepened, an unsettling chill hung in the air, causing our laughter to fade and our unease to grow. I couldn't shake off the feeling that we were being watched, that something sinister lurked beyond the veil of the trees. One by one, my friends retired to their tents, seeking solace in the illusion of safety. I hesitated, my instincts screaming at me to abandon this cursed place, but curiosity gnawed at my resolve. With a flickering flashlight in hand, I ventured into the woods, desperate to uncover the source of my unease. As I delved deeper into the woods, the trees closed in, their branches forming a suffocating canopy overhead. The flashlight's beam cut through the darkness, revealing gnarled roots and twisted trunks. The woods seemed alive, whispering secrets that danced on the edge of comprehension. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the forest, extinguishing my flashlight. I stood frozen, paralyzed by the sudden darkness that enveloped me. A cacophony of sinister whispers echoed through the trees, their words indecipherable but filled with malice. Panic gripped my heart as I fumbled to relight the flashlight, but its stubborn glow eluded me. A pale moon emerged from behind the clouds, casting an eerie glow upon the woods. In the pale light, I saw shadows moving between the trees, elongated figures that twisted and contorted with each step. They closed in around me, their presence suffocating, and a cold dread crept into my bones. I stumbled backward, desperate to escape their clutches, but the forest seemed to shift and change, trapping me within its grasp. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, filling my mind with a cacophony of tormented voices. I clamped my hands over my ears, desperate to shut out the nightmarish symphony, but the whispers penetrated my defenses, seeping into the depths of my soul. Lost in the labyrinth of those accursed woods, my senses began to warp and distort. The trees seemed to grow taller, their branches reaching down to grasp at me. Shadows danced and twirled, morphing into grotesque shapes that leered and taunted. Every sound, every rustle of leaves, sent shivers down my spine. Time became an indistinguishable blur as the night stretched on, its grip on reality tightening. I stumbled upon a dilapidated cabin hidden deep within the woods, its windows shattered and its door hanging on its hinges. With no other options, I sought refuge within its decaying walls, hoping to find solace from the horrors that pursued me. Inside, the air was thick with an otherworldly presence, suffused with an acrid stench that made my stomach churn. The walls were adorned with faded portraits, their once vibrant hues reduced to dull grays and browns. As I examined the pictures, a realization struck me with a gut-wrenching terror. The faces staring back at me were twisted and distorted versions of my friends. A whimper escaped my lips as I turned to flee, but the door slammed shut, sealing my fate within this cursed sanctuary. Desperation consumed me, and I pounded on the door, screaming for release. But the walls laughed at my feeble attempts, their cruel echoes reverberating through the cabin. In the ensuing madness, I caught a glimpse of myself in a cracked mirror. My reflection was distorted, my face twisted into a grotesque mask of terror. The whispering grew louder, morphing into manic laughter that drowned out all reason. Madness took hold, and I realized that I had become a mere puppet in the hands of the whispering woods. And so, dear reader, I share my story with you from the depths of this forsaken cabin, a warning to all who dare enter the whispering woods. Heed my words, for this cursed place preys upon the curious and devours their souls. The woods whisper their secrets, but those secrets are not meant for mortal ears. The whispering woods hunger, and they will not rest until they claim another victim. That's all we got from today's stories. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe because you would not want to miss the next story the Haunted Sketchbook got in store for you.